everyone, and thank you for coming to today's Play Attention special webinar regarding gross motor skills and the importance of gross motor skills in the learning process. We are very happy to have Leonie here today as our guest speaker. She not only has a great center to talk to you about and how she helps her clients develop gross motor skills, but she also incorporates Play Attention into her program. So we are very happy to have her with us today and appreciate her taking out the time to discuss this with us. Now, a couple of things I want to mention before we get started. One is that we are recording this event. So at the end of this webinar, you'll all receive an email and it will have a link to the recording. So if you want to watch this webinar again or share it with any family members or staff members, you'll be able to do so. Also, if at any time you do have questions, please type your questions in the Q&A box found at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You can ask your questions as we proceed through the webinar, and at the end, Leonie will take some time to discuss your questions. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to turn my camera off and turn the presentation over to Leonie. Thanks again, everyone.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. I'm not too sure where you guys are situated all over the world. I am from South Africa and our local time now is 8 p.m. Glenn, thank you very much for the great opportunity to be able to share my knowledge regarding gross motor skills. And also a big thank you to Karen Visser, which is the owner of our binding centrum here, and we are also using the Play Attention system. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it a lot. I am Leonie van der Merwe. I'm a Kinderkineticist. We are situated in South Africa. The town's name is Van der Bijl Park. My practice is 10 years old, and yeah, it's going good with us. I think the thing to start off is, what is kinderkinetics, or what is a kinderkineticist? It's a specialized pediatric field where we focus on children's overall motor development and well-being. And we're only specializing in children, the age of children between 0 and 13 years of age. That's important to understand, that we are specialists in specific neuromotor and physical skills of children between the age of 0 and 13 years. So obvious pre-primary and primary school children. We are fortunate enough to have a lot of work and contracts with schools, where we're taking hands with them and helping them to improve their children's overall physical development. We write specific programs for schools. We help them to assess the children and to improve the physical development, because as you would know, worldwide, that's a big, big deficit, because our children do not move anymore, they do not play, and schools are start recognizing that. At our private practice, we do different kind of therapy work. We work with special needs children, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, autism. We also work with overall scholastic shortcomings, children with midline crossing problems, spatial orientation, low muscle tone, and babies not reaching milestones, etc. What is the professional education that you need to complete before you can be in the profession of or a kinderkineticist? You need to complete a BA or BSc degree in pediatric exercise science, and then your honors degree in kinderkinetics. Okay, so now you know a little bit more of our profession. I think to start off is with the question, what are gross motor skills? And most of you would know this, but these are the skills that needs to be in place, and it's the ability to require the controlness of large muscles. It's the controlling large muscles of the body. Large muscles are arms, legs, big muscles. To, at the end of the day, be able to succeed in certain activities like walking, running, sitting, crawling, jumping. So just to keep in mind, it's the large muscles, it's the bigger muscles, not the fine motor skills. There are different gross motor aspects that needs to be in place and needs to be stimulated. And in my profession, we pay a lot of attention to the aspects on the screen now. And I'm just going to go quickly through each of them, just so that you know exactly what I'm speaking about. The first thing is a simple aspect as balance. Now we get two kinds of balance. We get static balance, where there is no movement, standing on one leg, standing heel toe, or we get dynamic balance, where there is moving apart. So walking on a balance beam, jumping on one leg. And balance is a very, very important aspect that needs to be stimulated from an early age as a baby. Spatial orientation. What is that? It's exactly what the word says, to orientate your body in the space. And these are normally children struggling with simple concepts as left, right, over, under, etc. Muscle tone. Now I'm going to speak a lot later about low muscle tone. Now, muscle tone is the strength of our muscles, the strength of our body, to be able to keep our body up straight against gravity. And that also needs to be stimulated a lot. Hand-eye and foot-eye coordination. Normal coordination where we use our hands and our feet. And that normally involves sport activities where we are using balls. Fundamental skills. The skill that a child needs to use to move from one point to another point. And that can be through hopping, running, anything. Okay, so the way a child moves from point A to point B. My vestibular function, and I'm quite sure there is, Otis is also attending this session, and you would be very familiar with the word vestibular function. What is that? It's the system that comes forward in a child's middle ear, and it has a relationship, 100% relationship with balance and spatial orientation. And how do we stimulate that? Through turns, rolling, midline crossing. Midline crossing, the ability to cross the midline. The upper body needs to work together with the lower body and the left and the right hand side of the body. So these are just normal but very important gross motor aspects that needs to be stimulated. I've put a few photos for you together so that you can see from an early age we learn through play. It's playful. It's nice. You would see here walking over a balance beam, doing some rolls. They would see hand-eye coordination. There's again a hand-eye coordination, muscle tone, okay, and locomotor skills. So just a few photos so that you can see how we can actually, on a playful manner, can introduce gross motor development to kids, or gross motor skills to kids. Right. In a child's brain, there are windows of opportunity. And there are different kinds of windows, as you would see on the screen, which is important to understand that each window would start or open at a certain age and closes. And during that period, it's really critical. It is 100% important that optimal stimulation needs to take place during that time period. And I'm going to speak today about the window of opportunity of gross motor development. Where is this window opening? Pre-birth, when baby are in mommy's stomach, where we start using our hands and our feet. Isn't that amazing? And where is it supposed to close, to be 100% in place? At the age of 6. So between the age of 0 and 6 years old, it is critical that optimal stimulation needs to take place. What is the effect? Let's say that gross motor skill closes at the age of 8. What is happening to the rest of the aspects on the screen? They would all move on, and they would also be affected because of this critical motor skill that needs to be in place between the age of 0 and 6. First gross motor skills, then fine motor development. Okay. Here we can see the progression of gross motor skills. Firstly, you would see between the age of 0 and 3 months of age, baby would spend a lot of time on their stomach. And if you have babies in your practice, or you yourself maybe have a baby, please remember tummy time, tummy time, tummy time. Then between 4 months and 5 months, they would start pushing themselves up on their hands. They would start rolling at the age of 5, at the 5 months of age. At the age of 6, we start sitting. Okay, between 6 and 7 months. Then between 7 and 8 months, we would be in the all fours position, meaning that they would be on their hands and on their knees, and they would start manipulate with their hands, start and taking something, and they would pull themselves up against, let's say, a small table. And then between 9 and 10 months of age, the crawling milestone needs to be developed. And from there on, up to 12 months of age, babies start standing and they start walking. I would say from my profession, the most important skill that needs to be in place here and needs to be reached is the crawling milestone. Why? Why is the crawling milestone so important? Firstly, their posture would be improving. Posture, look at the pictures here, okay? Where we would see what is happening. Baby are putting their weight on their hands, okay, which is proprioception. And once we're putting our weight on our hands, we start lifting our heads. Our neck reflexes will improve. Our core muscles, our shoulder muscles. So the whole posture of this baby will improve through crawling. The second thing that will improve is their balance. I just spoke about static and dynamic balance, but that could also improve through crawling. Their locomotor skills, because now baby starts moving from point A to point B. And lastly, their manipulation skills, where they start reaching for something, where hand-eye and foot-eye coordination starts coming in. What is also very, very important, and I get these questions a lot, is how long must a baby crawl? 2 to 3 months. Okay. I had a mummy about a month ago walking into my practice, and baby just started crawling like 2 or 3 days before. And she said, Leonie, please start urgently working on the walking milestone. And I refused. And she was very cross with me because that's just unnatural. And when I asked her why, it was a simple answer that the nephew started walking now. So this little girl also needs to start. You would know in your practices how many competition are there through parents. And we don't need to pressure our babies. The longer they spend time on the stomachs, the longer they crawl, the better. Okay. This is a world-known fact that children spend most of their time in a sitting position, in a static position. They don't move anymore. And children need movement much more than adults to develop their big muscles and to be able to succeed in skills as balance, crossing the midline, coordination skills. When I look at low muscle tone, and I'm laughing when I'm seeing this, in my practice, I think 70% we are fully booked of low muscle tone. Children that cannot keep the upper body straight, that cannot hold their weight against gravity. Look at this picture. It's things that we see daily. Even in a pre-primary school where teachers are reading stories to the children. They do not sit and listen to the stories. They lay on the carpet. There are a few reasons why we are seeing low muscle tone just coming more and more forward. And one of the reasons are that both parents are working now. In the past, only dad worked. Now mum and dad are working. So there's basically not time to spend with your child. Technology. Technology, yeah, it's a huge thing that has definitely a negative impact on our children's overall development. Especially here in South Africa, and surely with you guys too, it starts getting unsafe to let children play outside, in the parks, in the streets. And just a little bit of statistics there. In 1981 to 1997, playtime decreased by 25%. Now you guys can imagine yourself, what is that percentage now? Our schools, our governments, our parents, our teachers focus much more on the academic achievement at the expense of play. Children do not play anymore. I have huge arguments with schools that starting too early, too much pressure on children, and pressure where it's pen on paper. We're missing it. We just saw it. Between that age, north of 6 years of age, and even our primary school children up to the age of 13 needs to pay less time on pen on paper and more on playing, more on moving. What is the effect or the relationship between gross motor skills and scholastic achievement? Firstly, gross motor skills needs to be 100% developed before school readiness can be confirmed. And gross motor skills are one of very aspects that needs to be in place before we can confirm school readiness. But yeah, it needs to be in place. As I said, gross motor skills are the foundation for overall development. It's the first thing where we need to start. Pay attention firstly to the bigger muscles and then to the fine motor. If we look at something as a poor or immature pencil grip, okay, what's the cause of that? Normally, mostly, it's because of weak shoulder muscles. The arm are just getting lazy. That's why we start grabbing our pencil wrong, and we make this big swaying movements, and our quality of work has been affected negatively because of this. I put this picture in to try and show you visually. You would see this little girl with a pink. Look at her posture. She's 4 years old. Her posture is very good. She can keep her upper body up straight. She can put a weight on her wrist. Okay. What are we doing? What is the activity that we are doing? We're using the washing pegs for a simple reason, where we want, it's the beginning steps or the learning steps for a pencil grip. Okay. Because these muscles are in place and because her posture is good, that's the reason why she succeeds in a simple activity as the fine motor skills. First gross motor, then fine motor. If a child would have gross motor difficulties, okay, what will the effect be? Their overall fine motor skills will be negatively affected. They're cutting, they're drawing, they're coloring in, pegboards, etc. That would be influenced negatively. Concentration and attention span, focus. And later on, I will explain the benefit of using your great play attention systems with the gross motor development. But if a child's gross motor skills are not in place, it is a fact that their concentration, their focus would be less. They would not be able to filter auditory and visual distractions out. Their reading would be affected. Their working tempo, our typical slow processor, our daydreamer, or our impulsive learner that is just rushing the work off. Their posture at the table would be affected. And if my posture at the table are bad, what's the influence? My quality of work would be affected. Their writing, they would find difficulties in writing. And especially grade 1 learners that needs to read now and making sentences on a paper. What do we normally see? And that is spatial orientation, but there's confuseness between B's and D's. A 6 get a 9, writing from small to big, big to small. And how do we attend that? Through spatial orientation. They need to feel it with their body. Okay, so definitely it has a big influence on overall scholastic achievement. Kids worldwide are so overscheduled. If I say overscheduled, I think all of you would agree with me if I'm saying that parents are putting too much pressure on children. They need to compete in everything. Too many extramural activities that has been attended. So kids are overscheduled. They don't have time to play. So doctors are being told to prescribe play. Not medication anymore, but play. Can you see how bad this starts getting? Just quickly, the benefits of play. What is the benefits of play? We just spoke about their posture. They would have greater academic success. Stress levels would be released through physical activity. Emotionally wise, their intelligence would be better. Their communication skills, their self-regulation, that typical child who doesn't have that use the words I can't, no self-confidence. The first thing that they would start learning to improve that is through playing, where we need to communicate, where we need to focus. Okay, and obvious their physical development would be better. And at the end of the day, a healthier brain development would take in place. So playing are very, very important. I've made a quick list of simple gross motor activities that you can give to your parents, recommend the activities. First one is skipping. Okay, and with all my schools, I've got a rule that there needs to be a skipping rope in each learner's suitcase. Okay, and a skipping rope is not just a rope that we give to a child and say jump. No, it needs to be repeated. We need to practice it. Okay, so the correct steps needs to be introduced to these learners. Skipping is one of the school readiness aspects. So when a child is 6, he needs to be able to do continuous. Continuous jumps with a skipping rope. He needs to use a skipping rope with confidence. Trampoline. Trampoline are one of the best presents that you can buy your kids. There's so many things that develops on a trampoline. I can start with simple things that is just popping up my mind, and that's balance, vestibular function, midline crossing, confidence. So advise your parents to buy their kids some trampolines and let them jump. Ball games, balls, let the parents buy balls for their kids to develop overall hand-eye and foot-eye coordination. Okay, ride a bike. Okay, I see a lot of my 6-year-olds who is going to grade 1 who cannot ride independently on their bike. They still have the side wheels. So what is the rule when a child turns 5? Okay, the side wheels are supposed to get off. Okay, so they need to ride a bike. Walking over a balance beam, and that's just to stimulate basic balance skills. But if you don't have a balance beam, let them walk over the line on tiles, or take bricks and put it next to each other. But let them walk over it. That's very good, especially for that spatial orientation also. And then simple animal walks. In our sessions, 10 of our 30-minute sessions, children spend time on the floor where they keep their upper body or put their waist on their hands. Okay, they weight on their hands. They need to carry their own body weight on their wrists for proprioception. And that we can do through, here's an example of crab walking or just normal bunny hopping. There's a lot of activities, baboon walks, animal walks are a simple activity that can be introduced to children and would help them a lot. Okay, I'm fortunate enough to have also in my practice our play attention systems, and I can't tell you how good combination it is. Firstly, obvious gross motor development would be my first priority, especially with my smaller kids. Okay, and as we said, if the gross motor milestone isn't achieved 100%, there would be scholastic deficits and concentration problems. And that is exactly where play attention comes in. It adds an extra value to my practice to use the play attention systems to get focus and attention span 100% in place, to get permanent results. Thank you very much for that opportunity, and I can advise the play attention systems to anybody. We have huge results in our practice with that. Sometimes we see children once a week for individual therapy regarding their motor skills, and on the other day we see them for the play attention systems. And we are very proud to say that, yeah, we've got 100 kids on the books, so we're very, very satisfied about that. I'm going to end off to say it is so important that children move. And if this is the only thing that you take home today, that's also fine. But let children, your child, your practice children, let them play, and just play. These are my contact details. You can write it down, or you can just get it on the link that would be emailed to you. You are more than welcome to send me an email, or Leonie Kinderkinetics is our Facebook page. I would like to answer some questions personally, or further questions also. So you are more than welcome to do that. And I'm going to end off by saying that today's children are tomorrow's future. Okay, thank you very much. If there are any questions, I just need to see here if I can answer any questions. I don't just want to answer this one. Okay, so question from, I can't see exactly who it is. If a young adult displays deficits in fine motor skills, these deficits exist since primary grades. Do you see any benefit in going back to some of those gross motor exercises to help improve those fundamental skills as an adult? Definitely. If we look at something simple as a crawling milestone, okay? Let's say I get an 8-year-old child and they didn't reach the crawling milestone. We get back to that and I let them crawl on the ground. So yes, you can reverse that even from adult side to adult phase to toddlers. Okay, I hope I answered that question. Any more questions? I don't see anything on my screen. Gwen, I'm gonna hand over to you. If there are any more questions, there is something coming up. Thank you for your prevention. What about teenagers of 15 and 15 years old, which coordination problems? Just want to see here. With coordination problems, please, what would be the best? And that's from Gabriella. Gabriella, yeah, we can, teenagers of 15 and 15 years of age with coordination problems can be helped, okay, through individual therapy. So it's not too late, and that's not the message I want to give you. The guideline is, or the sufficient time is between that early age. Okay, but in the real world, it is not happening. So we can go back and through individual therapy, get that skipping rope out, coordination, put that child on the trampoline, okay? Balls, hand-eye and foot-eye coordination. That can help, but it's not too late. Patricia, are saying my husband and I are doing a lot of midline work to help my son integrate some primitive reflexes. Can these others help too? Definitely it can. Okay, midline work are awesome, and to stimulate that reflexes from an early age are good. So any child would benefit from that. Okay. Shamika, how often should a person receive one-on-one gross motor skills therapy sessions? Okay, one-on-one normally, depending on the problem, but we spend 30 minutes per week with that child with individual therapy, but we give homework. We're taking hands with our parents, and they also are performing the exercises at home. So from my side, I would say individual sessions, 30 minutes once per week. Let me just see here. Gabriella. So ball games and skipping. Yes, ball games, skipping are good. They are very good. Trampoline activities for overall coordination. Let your child roll on the floor. Forward rolls, side rolls. Very good for coordination. If we look at a simple activity as jumping jacks, I don't know if you know the jumping jack, scissor jumps, where the upper body and the lower body needs to work together. Hopscotch, a simple coordination activity. Cycling on a bike, that's coordination. Gabriella, I didn't found in UK. Okay. Any more questions? Let me just see here. Okay, and Colina asking. Sorry, I missed that one. I just want to see this again. Colleen, I'm trying to get back to your question. Oh, now I can see. I'm making just a bigger. Okay. Colleen, do you know of any practitioners in Canada? Yes, I do. One of my therapists, actually my manager of my practice, they immigrate to Canada next year. So if you can just send me an email for her contact details, I will give that to you. My contact details, leonie.kinderkinetics@yahoo.com. So just send me an email. Okay, Colleen also asked, what are vestibular and midline exercises would you recommend? Now, vestibular function is the turning of the body. Okay, so as I just said, trampoline activities, okay, rolling forward, rolling backwards, pencil rolls, okay, on the floor itself. And midline crossing. Midline crossing would be anything from taking a whatever ball with your left hand and put it on the right hand side of your body. Put it in a bucket. Okay, doing crossover activities where you need to throw something from the left side to the right side. Okay, star jumps would be good. Okay, that's also something that would be in place. I think I've attended most of the questions. If there are still more, you are more than welcome to just ask me in person. Let me just see here. There may be more. I think I've got, I have a 6-year-old, Maria asking, I have a 6-year-old whose concentration is distracted very easily. I'm an SLP, we sit at the table. What exercises can we do before sitting down that will help her concentration? Okay, my advice there would be when she's sitting at a table, let her take the chair away, okay, and use a gym ball. We call it gym balls here in South Africa. You get the different sizes, a 45 to a 75 centimeter ball. Let her sit on a ball rather on the chair. Why? Because if you say she gets quickly distracted and attention span or concentration is bad, I suppose that she fidgets a lot, okay, and she's struggling to sit still. Now, the moment you're sitting on that ball, you can't move around, okay? The moment your posture is bad and you're leaning forward, the ball would pop out at the back, all right? So that's an activity that I would suggest doing before actually going to the table, and that would actually help a lot. I think I've answered most of the questions. Thank you very much for your time. And if I did not answer all the... Hi. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Gwen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Leonie. I think there were a couple other questions that came in. So if you did not get your question answered, I'll make certain that Leonie does receive those questions and gets an answer out to you. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to send you an email with the link that has the recorded webinar on it. And that way you'll be able to watch the webinar again or share it with any family members or staff members. Thank you all so much for coming. My email follow-up will also include Leonie's email address. So if you did not get that earlier, I'll make certain that you do receive it in that email. I wanted to mention that if you do have any questions regarding Play Attention, or if you would like to attend tomorrow's webinar at the same time, so 1 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow will be an overview of Play Attention and how we utilize our NASA-inspired technology to improve cognitive skills and executive function. So if you would like to attend that event, you can register online, or you could just type in the Q&A box, just type in tomorrow's webinar, and I'll make certain you get the login information for that event. If no one else has another question or wants to type in anything at this time, we'll go ahead and end the presentation. Make certain you do keep looking at our website every month, because every month we have special guest hosts talking on a variety of topics. So we did appreciate Leonie's time today. I think it was fantastic. For those of you who have typed in tomorrow's webinar, no worries. I will make certain that you get tomorrow's login information. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great afternoon, and we look forward to speaking to all of you again soon. Take care.